Okay, nothing's jumping out at me right off the get-go here. Let me just grab a rag. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I'm just looking for anything obvious, a broken wire that's come loose or bad solder joint. I'm just going to take a look here. Everything looks okay. Okay. No, everything looks okay here. So I'm going to take the output jack off next. Okay, well, the output jack looks okay, like the wires are on there. It's weird. I was pretty sure we were going to find a broken wire here, but I don't see anything. Unless the switch is bad, which is possible. You know what? I am going to plug the guitar in again and check it again while I have all the electronics exposed. So that way I'll be able to troubleshoot it a little better. So I'm just going to stop the video there, and I'll come back in a second. Okay, I think I found out what it was. All the wiring is fine. I think it's the output jack itself. Like right now, everything was working a second ago, and I was just messing around with the connection here, and it's gone totally dead again. Nothing at all. But if I kind of reseat this cable, there we go. Got our connection back. I'm just tapping on the pickup there. So I think, yeah, see, it's gone again. So it's this output jack. This piece here is likely, like, it's tight, and the wires and the connections are fine. It's just not seating very well. There we go. So it didn't take much to break that connection, and this is just a cheap, like low cost output jack. Okay, so I'm going to replace this. I've got a few others, and I think I got a couple of Tone Pros left around. I'll swap it out with one of those. Those are really secure. So that's one thing we'll change. Everything else seems fine. The pots are fine. There's no scratchiness or anything. The pickup selectors work, and all the pickups work. So I'm just going to put the pick guard back, and I'll just put a couple screws in to hold it from moving around, because we'll need to. I don't think we'll need to take it off again to change this, because we got a lot of wire here. But we'll worry about that later. So at least it's not a major repair. It's a pretty straightforward one. Just put a new output jack on there and solder the wires back up. So let me get that back together, and we'll move on from there. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to take this neck off and see why there's such a deep, or such a gap in the neck pocket where the neck meets the body. Now, these screws aren't in there super tight. Like I said in part one, I'm wondering if the holes just weren't drilled deep enough. And I noticed when I took the pick guard off, there was some wood dust underneath the pick guard, which tells me maybe Glenn had to drill these holes in the body, in the neck, and for the pickguard himself, because some kit guitars come with the holes pre-drilled and some don't. He couldn't remember, so maybe he did drill these holes himself, and they just need to be drilled a little deeper. We'll find out. And here's what we've got on the neck. So the holes look clean. There's a little bit of flare up around the edges. And again, I think from what I'm seeing, it looks like these holes were drilled after the finish was put on, because you can see it's lifted where around the hole, and that includes the finish. So very likely that that he drilled those himself. So we'll take some measurements and see. I think we just need to go a little deeper on those holes so that it sits in the pocket nice. And it seemed to seat well. I mean, it's a little loose. We can maybe shim it, but I think we'll be okay. Well, we'll take a closer look at that later. So I think the next thing I want to do, let's take a look at the frets. Okay, so I'm going to check the frets now. You've got the neck laying on a wooden caul, one of those, so it can sit it nice and flat on the bench. And I've got the headstock hanging over the side of the bench because it's angled back and I can't lay it down flat on the bench here, but you should be able to see what I'm doing okay. And first thing we want to do is we want to make sure we have a nice straight neck to check before we check our frets. So I'm going to use I got the MusicNomad notched straight edge, and we'll be using the 25.5-inch scale length. So we're going to lay it on there like that. I like to bring my light in nice and low, then I just check for how much light I can see underneath the notched straight edge here. Oops. Okay, so it is a tiny little bit of a bow, so I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. In this case, I'm going to be turning my truss rod to the right, my right. And yeah, it's loose, so I got to make sure it engages. This is a two-way rod, like I mentioned in the assessment video. Okay, so it's just grabbing now. So I'm just going to snug it up a little bit. Take that measurement again. There we go. That's better. Yeah, we could probably take a little bit out. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. Got a nice straight neck now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our fret rocker. I got one from SkyScraper guitars. I like this one. It's really good. All I'm going to be doing is checking each fret one at a time. And the way you do that is you lay the edge of this on your frets, and you want to have a 3-fret positioning on these. So I'll show you a little closer here. So using our first 3 frets as an example, you'll lay the longest part of your fret rocker on those 3 frets. And you want to use the correct length on the fret rocker, because you don't want to go covering more than 3 frets, like down here, for example. Get you in the frame here. We've got 4 frets. We don't want that. We would have to use the smaller side. And then we would just, okay, yeah. You hear that? That click? That tells me this fret is higher than the 2 next to it. Okay. So we've already got one high one there. And I like to just mark them with a Sharpie so I know how many high frets I'm dealing with. There we go. I just put a little red mark there so I know what's what. Now, normally what I'll do is, if, like, say, for example, in this case, if the treble side of the fret was high and the bass side of the fret was fine, I would make a mark on the treble side just so I know, we've got a high spot here, we've got a high spot here, or the whole fret is high. In this case, the whole fret is high, so I just put a little mark in the middle. Normally I'd dress or mark the whole fret, but I haven't taped off the fretboard yet, so I don't want to accidentally slip and Sharpie the fretboard yet. So I'm just doing a rough estimate to see if I need to do a full fret level on this guitar, on this neck, or if I could just get away with a little spot leveling 1 or 2 frets and then just doing a cleanup on them. So we'll start up here. A little bit of rock on the bass side there. No, not much. Just a tiny bit. And I'm just going to repeat that down the fretboard. That one seems okay. That one seems okay. And so forth. So let me just back you out here. And the higher up the neck you go, the shorter the distances between the frets, and that's when you start using the smaller sides of the fret rocker until you get up here and you're using the smallest side. Okay, so that's why they're shaped like that. So I'm going to go through the whole neck, and I'll come back after I'm done and let you know what I find. But that's the process I'll be using for the whole thing. I won't film it because it's pretty boring. Okay, I finished checking the frets. We've got a few high ones here. You can see the red Sharpie. The areas, like the whole fret here in this case, is red, which means the entire fret is high. And the ones where there's just partial marks are the high spots. So we've got 3 high frets, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that have high spots on them. So I'm thinking probably easier just to do a whole fret level on this. I'll have to see if any of these frets are lifting. I'll need to take a closer look at that. I don't think they are. They all look like they're in there okay, but I'll have to take a closer look to see. But even so, I mean, if it was 1 or 2, I would probably just spot level them and check if they're lifting and try and hammer them back into place. Sometimes they just get lifted if the fretboard gets dry and the wood shrinks and expands. They pop out. But in this case, I think a full fret level might be the way to go. I'll talk to my buddy, see what he says. I'm not sure what he wants to do with it in that regard, so we'll let him know what I find. And as I was doing that, I was taking a closer look at the nut. And I mentioned in part 1 this piece here, which kind of looks like almost like a crack. And I was looking on the other side, and there's something similar there, but it doesn't look like a crack. I think that maybe just be a little bit of the finish that he put on. Maybe he had masked off the nut, and a little bit of the finish that he used on the guitar came through. That's a pretty nice line there. But that doesn't, like, I can feel the lip, but it might just be the finish. This side, yeah, I'm not sure. It still looks like a crack to me, but I mean, I don't know how that would crack. That's metal. So it might just be the finish, and maybe it just got scuffed, or maybe it might just be some tape residue that's kind of stuck on there under the finish now. But I think I'm going to take this off. There's these 2 screws here holding it in, and there's these 2 grub screws here. One here and one here. And, you know, for the life of me, I can't figure out what they would be for. I mean, I thought maybe it might be a way to adjust the nut slot height on a nut like this. I've never seen that before. But, I mean, I'm no expert by any stretch, but the Floyds I have and I've seen and worked on in the past, I've never seen that before. And I don't think the Ibanez Jems and the Jems Juniors, I don't think they have these either. I know they have a retaining bar, and we'll talk about that more when we restring it. But for right now, I'm not sure what these do. I mean, I took one right out. It's just a grub screw, and I tightened it down to where it is now, and it doesn't seem to be doing anything. I mean, if it's going to do anything, it's going to lift this side of the bridge up. You know, if you keep tightening it, you're just going to push that screw deeper in, and it's going to force this piece up, or it's just going to tighten and stop. So I'm not really sure what the heck those are for. So anyway, I'm going to take these 2 screws out, remove the nut. Maybe that'll give me an idea of what these are used for. So I'll quickly do that and show you what I find. Okay, so I've got the nut taken off. I'll just show you what I've got here. So I just removed the 2 screws. They're just 2 wood screws, and they just mount directly into the neck itself. Okay, right here, those 2 holes. Nothing too fancy. And underneath the nut is this metal plate. So as you can see, when we put our plate on, oh, got it the wrong way. Hold on, there we go. All the holes line up. Okay, so we got our 2 mounting holes. The other 3, I'm not sure. You certainly don't need 5 screws to hold that in there, but that might just be part of the kit. Like, they may use this style of nut and locking system in other guitar kits they make, and maybe that configuration is different. You know what I mean? Instead of having like a screw here and here, they might have a screw in 1, 3, and the 5 position, and this being the 2 and the 4 position, just to make it easier to understand. But regardless, we've got the 2 holes or the 2 screw holes for here that are used to mount this one to this neck. The other 3 aren't being used for anything. Now, when I take this little metal, and this is metal too, when I take this metal plate off, I can see those grub screws I mentioned to you earlier. You can see them there. So if you were to, like, it would sit like this, right? And this would be where the neck is. So if you were to tighten those grub screws and continue to tighten them, you're just going to be pushing against that metal plate. So if anything, you're going to push this nut up so it's at kind of an angle like that. I'm exaggerating it to show you, okay? Because if you loosen them, you're not going to do anything. So let me just show you. So if I loosen this out all the way, like, it changes nothing on the opposite side. Okay? Like, it's still going to sit on this metal piece just like that. Like, it won't change how that seats, right? But if you tighten it up all the way, let's see what happens. Oh, okay, yeah, that's as tight as I can go. So it doesn't even go past the nut. Like, that's as tight as it goes. Like, I can just feel it coming through there. So when you put this piece back on, like, it's not really doing anything. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Well, I guess, you know what, if you know, please put it in the comments to help me understand that, and probably someone else too. But for right now, I'm just going to tighten these up. That one's tight already. I'm just going to leave them. I'm not going to worry about it. Because when this goes back on and we lock everything down, that's the end of it. There's no further adjustments to be made with these things. I'm still not clear on why they're there. But Now we know. Oh, and I was looking at that crack on the side too. It's not a crack. I'm almost positive now. I think that's just some of the finish and the way it's dried. And I bet you anything that is just some residue for some tape, because I can see a little bit on the back here. And I was able to scratch a bit of it off with my fingernail. So I think I'm just going to try and maybe just clean up some of that. It's probably just a little bit of finish and a little bit of maybe masking tape, or just some dirt over time. I don't know. It's nothing to worry about. It's not a crack, so it's nothing to sweat. So we're good there. So I think that'll wrap it up for this part of the video. I was really just going to look at the electronics, but it turned into something entirely different. But now we know what we're dealing with. We got a better idea of what we're dealing with as far as the work involved in this job. And depending on what my buddy wants to do with the frets, I'll let him decide on that. I'm going to recommend a full fret level, but it's up to him. There's not a lot of wear on these frets, so they got a lot of life in them. The fret ends are actually pretty good. There's no sprout happening. They're a little bit sharp in areas, but that's easily remedied with a fret end dressing file. I've shown that in other videos, so we'll give that a quick dressing as well when we do the frets. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.